BlizzCon 2019 is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of BlizzCon. Facebook Gaming, a world of play. Samsung SSD, performance gamers trust. Corsair, do your thing. And by NVIDIA.
Your name goes up on one of these banners. It's every StarCraft player's dream.
BlizzCon, are you ready?
It is time.
Massive connection. How do you stop this army?
You are the best player in the world.
G'day StarCraft fans, welcome back. We've got our next round of 8 match. It's going to be Reynor against Trap. Another great WCS region versus Korea region match down. I am Reynor. With me is the wonderful and irreplaceable Rotterdam. How you feeling, buddy?
Feeling good. I thought it was a very exciting first best of 5. I mean, 3-0s. Normally, nobody likes 3-0s, but I think all 3 games there were very interesting. They were long. They were pretty back and forth, even though it always felt that Zero had an early lead. Su really did make him work for it, so I think it was good.
Yeah, we did that thing, but backstage we're like, oh, it's over.
Yeah.
And then 15 minutes later.
To be fair, we always do that. As soon as 2 units go down, right? Things are over.
That is true. We're a little bit like that in the StarCraft community. To me, this series coming up is like a little bit of the battle of the seconds. You know, Reynor obviously has won a few championships, but he is second place on the WCS rankings. Trap as well. You know, a fantastic year. Not able to actually win a GSL, but definitely winning a ton of points, being second only under Dark. And second places are bound for him as well in the GSL. But of course, neither one of these players are happy with just a second place. They want to make sure that they are going all the way to the final match here. Only a few more series for them to be #1.
Yeah, of course, Reynor had an absolutely fantastic year, and it already started to be fantastic pretty much from the moment that this young man turned 16. I mean, at first he wasn't able to play in these WCS events. Last year, finally it was time at Montreal. Well, first Valencia, made it to the quarterfinals, a really good run. Then, of course, we had Montreal, where he went all the way to the finals. He was 1 map away from qualifying for the global finals last year. This time, he did make it very convincingly so, and winning 2 WCS tournaments already. I mean, everything has been amazing for this kid since he turned 16.
When this game came out, Reynor was 7 years old. Process that for a second. This kid, his explosion onto the scene has been unprecedented. He's actually incredible how much he exploded. The only person that sort of exploded from, you know, relatively known to someone that's just absolutely can't be ignored is Cyril. Like that jump from someone that's good into someone that's great has really happened right here for our kid on screen right now.
Yeah, he is incredibly consistent. Some people still say that he's inconsistent. I think the opposite is true. This man, when it comes to WCS circuit events, has never lost to anybody else other than Cyril. I think that is crazy. Of course, we're taking a look at Trap over here as well. There's one thing that I'm looking forward to in this series, and that's this man, his Oracle control. He is so freaking amazing with Oracles. I think he's the best out there.
Even 4 years ago, he had the nickname the Wing Commander. So good with Stargate units and really unmatched in that Oracle control, as you mentioned. And the highest performing Protoss in his entire region, just doing, you know, when we think about our big Protosses from Korea, we're thinking about stats, we're thinking about Classic, we're going to be seeing a little bit later as well. But this guy absolutely has earned his seat. He's been showing incredible games all year round, even in the round of 16, getting through in second spot. And I'm extremely excited for this ZvP.
Yeah, I think there is a big story here, obviously, when it comes to Reynor. We know how good this young man is in shutting down early Protoss aggression, right? If you really think you can just make a War Prism run to the other side of the map and kill him, you're in for a rough awakening, because he's often there with some Ravages. It's going to be a really fun series. I can't wait to see if Reynor can make it to the semi-finals, or if it's going to be Trap finally stepping outside of the shadows of those other top Korean Protoss pro gamers.
Really excited for this one. A lot of people are favoring Reynor here. His ZvP is incredible, but let's just get into it, guys. All right, BlizzCon, warm up those vocal cords. In the bottom right here, the WCS player, the Italian stallion, the Zerg player, he is Reynor! And up in the top left from Jin Green Wings, the best performing Protoss from the Korean region. Give it up for Trap!
Thunderbird is going to be our very first map. This is a map that often gives us the longer games because it's very easy for these players to go up to 3 bases. And once you have 3 bases, obviously the 4th is quite easy to establish as well. So we should have some time to talk a little bit about it. I like that you just brought up there that Trap has been the best performing Protoss out of South Korea this year. I don't think that's something a lot of people would have predicted. If you think of South Korea, you think of Protoss players, you think of SOS, the 2-time world champ, you think of Zest, you think of Stats, of course, and Classic, who is still here. But I mean, Trap this year has shown up in such a big way. And I feel he's often a bit overlooked, right? Like if I was Trap, I'd be feeling like, what more do I have to do for you guys to always start mentioning me instead of mentioning those other 4 guys?
Yeah, so many people have forgotten that he actually made it to the grand finals of IEM Katowice back in 2015, only to get knocked down by Cess, who at the time, his PvP was his best matchup. It's an incredible run for that kid, and he just hasn't been able to repeat it, so the guy's kind of goes unnoticed by most of the community. Of course, he does have his fanboys out there, or fanboys, singular. And he's absolutely earned his place here. I can't even think of a better way to say it. I really feel like even though Reynor is favored in the series, Trap has shown us with a lot of his timing-based attacks. He doesn't really want to go to the late game. He usually wants to hit with Immortals and that sort of thing. He has a very large depth of strategy, and Reynor absolutely will be keeping his toes. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of Overlord speed here from Reynor in this series, because it's just Trap is I feel like his best chance to beat him is to catch him with something that he's not expecting.
Yeah, but Reynor in general, I think his scouting is so freaking good. He's really on the money when it comes to expecting these pushes. It's actually fun as well, because if you think back of their round of 16 performance, right, which just happened last week over in South Korea, they both had a nail-biting 3-2 victory in this matchup. Reynor barely was able to defeat Hero, one of those other top Protoses from South Korea, 3-2, where he was probably supposed to lose Game 5.
Game 5 was ridiculous.
Yeah, he was in all the trouble. Meanwhile, Trap played a decidus match, 2-2, going into Game 5, finally busted out the double Stargate strategy, which I'm a big fan of. But he too was very close to being in a lot of trouble, and it could have been so different. So in that way, if you look at that past performance, it's a bit hard to say like I really favor X or Y here. But I'm still kind of going with Reynor just because I think Reynor, his early game, his first 10-12 minutes, I think it's almost flawless.
And he's so confident, and rightly so. Like, there's a reason he's confident, because he keeps finding success time and time again. And there's that Overlord speed before Link speed, actually. He's waiting for the extra 100 gas before he gets in the metabolic boost, just bleeding out, prioritizing mineral income for now. But, like I said, I fully expect this from Reynor. He just needs to make sure his I's and lowercase j's are dotted, his T's are crossed, making sure he's keeping the Protoss honest.
Reynor did spend a little bit of time in South Korea before the global finals round of 16 kicked off, and I actually think that helps him a little bit, because we have some fantastic Protoss players in the European scene. You think of a Hearthstone, a Drogo, those guys, plenty more others that deserve to be mentioned. But when it comes to controlling these oracles, it does feel that the Korean Protosses are something special, right? Like we've seen Zest with it, we've seen Stats with it, but especially this man, Trap. That's the kind of stuff you want to play against a couple times, because if the very first time you play against somebody who uses oracles this well, it can actually cost you way too many drones, and then it's going to be hard to win games.
Speaking of which, we have an Overlord pickoff there. That one had speed, but it did get knocked down by the Stalker. So now Oracle coming on down here, and that's going to be a cancelled drone from Reynor. Does get beamed down. He's even got an Overlord pickoff there on that lava. So this Oracle being very annoying, not amounting to many drone kills, but still a bit of damage.
This is interesting, by the way. Trap is going to be hyper-aggressive because he only made a single Oracle.
Yep.
That's very unlike Trap. Normally it's a Phoenix and an Oracle, or two Oracles into a Phoenix. But this time, but this scout is massive. Right here by Reynor, he sees his target is not being used. He will see no additional Stargate units have been built. Scouts the Twilight Council and those gates. This scout tells him everything that he needs to know.
We have a Charge Lot Archon attack coming, and this means the Roach Warren being dropped here for Reynor. He's going to have that ground pound army, that really tanky sort of, supply inefficient but very heavily armored and very, very good against gateway unit army. And one of the few things that Zerg has in the early game to fight against Archons. First Prism going across the map, which Reynor, I think, just saw with his Lings.
I'm not sure. If
very, very close. He's pulling him back.
Okay. The Roach one is a tiny bit late, though. I don't want to say I'm super worried about this, but it would have been nice to maybe have access to those Roaches a little bit earlier. Because if Trap really commits to this, which we see now is not the case because he is going up to 3 bases, then you did want to have those Ravages ready a little bit faster. It seems like Trap's build is also a tiny bit off,
yeah,
right?
The gateway's not quite lining up here, so that extra cooldown there on those Archons. Yeah, it looked like the extra couple gateways are just a little bit late there for Trap. Maybe just feeling a little bit of the shakes here. We do have a beautiful stage and a big crowd here in the arena. And another follow-up scout just to make sure that everything is as expected. Seeing Chrono Boost as well on the Twilight Council. And in come those Archons, trying to get into that natural, see what they can get done. Reynor moving his units to intercept. He's got a few more Roaches on the way, just a handful of them out right now.
Okay.
And Charge is about to finish up here, Roddy. So this attack is actually relatively scary.
Couple of Zealots coming in from behind. Excuse me, Zerglings. They're going to annoy those Zealots a little bit. I actually think this is going very good for Reynor. Look at the damage on that War Prism.
Oh, the Prism's getting low. The Archon's body blocking there, but the Queen really wants it. The Prism pulls back to safety. He's trying to warp in. He loses the Oracle. One Archon's going to go down. Oh no, it just pulls back to safety.
And I don't think this is really working out. I mean, yeah, the Zealots did a little bit of damage, but Trap also lost his Oracle, and that's a unit you really want to keep alive, because that's the only Oracle he had. It's amazing that both those Archons survived. Don't ask me how that happened. But losing the one flying unit you have, that's bad, because now that entire investment into the Stargate tech, what is it good for, Reynor?
Yeah, it is relatively expensive, and he didn't really get drone kills with it. Hasn't been able to tag or harass or even use it for scouting information right now. That prism is so low, but the Queens aren't here on the front line. It is just Roaches, so easy pickoffs there to get those Archons back to safety. Immortal production has been in the back mind here for Trap as he heads towards his first upgrade. And Reynor's just looking to go Ling, Bane, Ravager here against the Protoss. A very, very common strategy for the Zerg.
Yep. I like how Trap is still trying to find some damage here with his 2 Archons and his War Prism. Another scout going in. I mean, Reynor is definitely on point when it comes to his scouting this game. Sometimes we see these Zerg players get a little bit lazy right after the opening phase when they know what they're going up against. That is not the case here for Reynor. He's checking, he's double checking, triple checking. A single Phoenix is being produced now. I think that's A, to hunt down Overlords, and B, maybe to fly into the main base once in a blue moon and actually see what's happening, right? Because he lost his Oracle.
Nidus Worms are always a threat, and the Phoenix is also there to deny that vision, as you mentioned. And speaking of which, we've got Infestation Pit getting down here as Reynor starts to get further and further into the tech tree. And the Phoenix is going to eventually kill this Overseer. But at the moment, both players just kind of chilling, getting ready for the next phase.
Yeah, that's going to take a little while. One Phoenix and an Overseer. Reynor's not really paying attention to it. We have the Infestation Pit on the way already, also +2 melee.
Yeah, not range, so I don't think this is... I mean, it could be Swarm Host, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. Could just be Hive here for Reynor. Yeah, it looks like he's going towards Greater Spire here, trying to go towards the ultimate Zerg endgame army as the Hive begins instantly with the Infestation Pit going down. And Reynor doesn't really want to, you know, I don't know if he even can make an attack happen. However, Trap's army is pretty beefy if it's all together. So there is a window here for the Protoss to try and put some damage on the Zerg.
Yeah, this is where often you would like to see Reynor get those Ravages in position, right? That he's so damn good with. Baneling speed not done yet, like you said as well. It's going to make it a little bit complicated, but Trap is not committing to anything, so I think it's going to be fine for now. There's no such thing really as forcing units out when your opponent is on 79 drones, right? That's kind of when you want to produce units anyway. So this is not really hurting Reynor.
And both players being very, very careful in game one, just getting a feel for each other. They'll start to get closer and closer as games go further. Game one's just been such a stalemate here for the last few minutes.
Yeah, a surprising game one, I would say, because, I mean, Trap opening up with the Oracle, that's not surprising, but then only making a single Oracle, kind of hoping that he can catch Reynor off guard. Because now in the end, like that 2 Archon 5 Zealot attack, it didn't look like much, right? But if the Zerg player didn't scout properly, then that suddenly could have escalated very quickly. It could become 10 Zealots, and then before you know it, Zerg is in all the trouble. So it's been a very passive opening after that. And now we've got the Hive, and we know, I mean, we're expecting a Great Spire. I wonder if he waited there on purpose.
Great Spire is going down here for Reynor, trying to get it out of the vision of Trap potentially. There was an attempt at a run by, but very inconsequential. It was dealt with easily.
+2 melee is about to finish up, and that means that Banelings will one-shot probes, and that's of course a massive upgrade. This Overlord with a couple of Banelings already heading in there.
In they come. Trap sees it, but this warp in might be a little bit late. The probes absolutely need to leave. These Banelings have got speed as well. They're rolling. They're looking for those connections.
One Baneling and a couple of these probes is all you need.
Ooh, nice warp in there for Trap. He actually holds on. Denies a bit of mining time, but great defense from the Protoss.
Yeah, a lot of extra Banelings have been moved. There's no storm here.
Look at all these Banelings rolling into that big wall of Archons. Reynor has so many Banelings that it doesn't even matter with all these Archons. They are just getting rolled through.
Oh my goodness. That is the swarm. That's a lot of Zerg, and that did not work out at all for Trap. He's losing an insane amount of his important units. I like the double prism here. Shout out to Alpha Star, who always does that. But that did not work out at all for the Korean Protoss.
Oh, this new style of just going mass Archon and foregoing Storm does seem crude on paper, but of course Reynor is just showing us that, you know, you wouldn't think that Banelings would be the answer, but when they're clumped up like that, it was expensive, but it did the job. And we're finding Reynor in a very lovely spot here in this game.
Expensive is all right, though, if you're at 88 workers. Reynor, his economy is off the charts. Like, you can't really wish for much more than this. So even if you trade a few too many Banelings to kill an Archon, that's always worth it, because he's just so damn rich.
Gonna attempt another Baneling drop here to hit that probe line. Trap's defense pretty good earlier. We'll check in a second to see if it's still pretty nice. Oh, looks like the unit's being pulled into the Zerg army here. That's a lot of dead Zealots there for not a whole lot of value. Oh, man. Yeah, it looks like Reynor's just got so much. He's even chasing up this ramp here. Immortal straying from the pack. The Archons also at the front of the pack getting picked off. This is dismal for Trap.
A couple of Archons trying to get out of there. Baneling drop as well. 14, 18 probes going down just like that. Trap is in a lot of trouble. Does once again get out of there with a couple of those low HP Immortals and Archons, but these fights are just not working out for him.
It is all Reynor right now. He is really holding the reins here in this game, and Trap pulls all the way back to his low ground 4th Nexus. Gonna rely on the Prisms for any presence on the other side of the map, but it is so hard to do, and even the Lings see it. So Reynor is not gonna get caught by surprise by anything. Trap starts stalling extremely late because he's desperate.
Gotta say, what a debut, right, for Reynor. I know that we've been casting him all year long, like we're expecting everything out of him, but this is a 17-year-old playing his very first game at the official Global Finals. You know, not the round of 16 that we had in Korea, but here in the big one, in the stadium in Anaheim, and he's just playing like he's always doing, just fantastic.
And the Corruptors are out now. They will become Broodlords shortly, but right now they're just being used to try and pick off these Warp Prisms. He gets the Prism there!
That's sweet.
Going from bad to worse here for the Protoss player. He really doesn't have an out. The Link's coming in from the back. He cannot run, he cannot hide. Reynor is all over him. The Banelings even coming back to seal the deal on those Zealots. Their life is forfeit. And now the Broodlords are coming, Roddy.
I mean, he's winning before the Broodlords. I think that kind of says it all. Trap is gonna fall back to his shield batteries, which would be good if all he had to worry about was a couple of Banelings. But that's not the case. He has to worry about so much more. Storm is finishing up, but all that Trap has left is 95 supply, and that is just not going to cut it. What a game by Reynor.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see any bad weather in this game. He's just warping in some High Templar now, but it's going to be a while before they get the juice to actually bring those Storms in. They're just being turned into Archons. The Broodlords are just stutter stepping back. They are not under any threat here with all the Roaches, Ravages, and Banelings holding that line, and Trap just looks like he's run out of oxygen in this game, Roddy.
Yeah, the Archons are falling. The Stalkers are not going to cut it here. A few more probes will go down. I think Trap knows it. GG, Reynor will take the 1-0 lead. And he looked good. I'm very impressed. Yes, we all know how freaking good this kid is, but doing it here, sitting in the middle of this big arena, all eyes are on you, and then show up like that in game 1, that's something special.
I mean, I'll sort of repeat it again. I really wanted Trap to be aggressive in that game. It looked like he wanted to be. He was going for the Charged Archon attack. He definitely tried to make some magic happen in the early game. But with that Overlord speed, Reynor came on in. He was not surprised by a single thing. There didn't seem to be at any point in that game where Reynor was under threat.
No. I mean, maybe like when the first Archon Immortal attack, or excuse me, the Archon Zealot attack showed up, it's like, oh, does he have enough units out? Are they ready? But yes, they were ready. Then he got all the shots off immediately on the Prism. And even if you don't kill the Prism, putting that much damage on the Prism makes it so hard for the Protoss to bring that Prism offensively and then start juggling those Archons like we always see them do. So it was perfect. It truly was.
Yeah, well, I mean, if Reynor keeps that up, we're going to have another 3-0 here. But hopefully, you know, I believe in Trap. I believe in him very much so. Like, everyone is still favoring this kid, Reynor. Trap is no pushover. His PvZ is incredible, but yeah, he's going to have to do better than game 1, for sure.
And this was a little different as well than we've seen from Trap in the round of 16, right? We've often we only saw him go double Stargate once. I mean, that was successful, but we did see him open up with a lot of Oracles, and that's where he shines. This game, he went Stargate for a single Oracle. I know, like 7 minutes later, he made a Phoenix, but it's not about that Phoenix anymore. That's just because he lost the Oracle. I mean, maybe he's like, Reynor's very worried about my Oracle control. Maybe like he knows that I love to play with Oracles, so he's probably going to build 2 Spore Crawlers per base and stuff like that. But that just simply wasn't the case. Reynor did not overreact and looked good.
Yeah, that huge map, Thunderbird, is done and dusted with Reynor 1-0 in the series. Our next battlefield is going to be Acropolis. Not a terrible map for PvZ. Protoss definitely can make some magic happen on this one. And we are going to go straight into it, ladies and gentlemen. In the top left here, currently up 1 in the series, the little warrior himself. This is Reynor! And in the bottom right in the blue, still looking to put a score on the board, but he could do it here. This is Jin-Air Greenwings' Trap!
I'm expecting more of the same when it comes to the young Italian. There's no need for him to really drastically change things up. That's the way that he has been playing ZvP for the majority of the year, I'd almost say. Trap, of course, I am expecting to switch it up a little bit. This is, of course, a very different map. Unlike Thunderbird, you don't only have 1 entrance into your first 3 bases. So in general, you're going to be forced to play a little bit differently. Because if you go too greedy, you can literally lose Nexus to a bunch of Zerglings and stuff like that.
I completely agree with you. It just seems like Reynor needs to play safe, and Trap needs to be the one to keep him guessing to try and catch him with his hand in the cookie jar. But it's so much easier said than done in this matchup with things like Overlord speed and just Reynor's Ling, constant harassment with Lings, these Ling run-bys into mains and whatnot. It's so hard to hide anything on this Italian kid.
Yeah, but I think the last game also shown us that Reynor has grown as a player, because yes, we know that he loves his Ling run-bys and he's one of the very best in the business to do so, but a lot of Zerg players are very good at that, and Thunderbird is not a good map for that. So it would be very unwise to randomly make 40 Zerglings and just desperately try to run into 3 bases, right, over and over again. On this map, a little more likely, so there's a chance we'll see a little more aggression out of the young Italian. But in the last game, there was no need to do it. It's not a good map for it, so then just don't do it.
Exactly. You only really can do Ling run-bys once you get to the 4th base. On this map, a lot of Protosses want to expand on the high ground there, but if you go on the low ground, there is, of course, an opening, and if the 3rd base is a little bit of an more open choke point for Zerg to make something happen with the run-by, but at the moment, we are just seeing a complete standard play from both players. Hatch, Gas, Pool, Protoss also, Gate, Nexus, Cybercore, and going to see what the strategies round out here. Looks like potentially a Stargate opening again. Give a trap. Stargate just gets put down. Warp Gate being delayed ever so slightly.
If you could have it your way, Maynard, what would you love to see out of Trap?
Honestly, a ton of gateways, charge, and they're just making a nice big A move right through his throat. You asked, I'll tell you.
Why did I even ask? We'll see. We're going to see some more Stargate usage this game.
A second Stargate, potentially. I mean, the game 5 between a laser and Trap on this map was the one where he did the second Stargate.
Yep, it was on this map that he busted out the double Stargate Phoenix. And I think it's a build that I'm obviously a massive fan of. It's not something you can do every single game at this level, because then players who are as good as Reynor, they're going to blind counter their living hell out of you, and then everything is going to be bad. It's the first Phoenix, we'll see where he takes it, but it could also just be Phoenix into the traditional triple Oracle that we know that he loves so much and he's so damn good with.
And Reynor's really, really good at defending it as well on the other side of the map. So we've got the first couple of depths here from Trap, going out there for a little bit of map control, see what the Zerg is up to, potentially get some drone kills. I think Reynor started Overlord speed and then cancelled it, or it might be completed here. He's got Ling speed just about done.
It's kind of a slow Overlord.
Yeah, it's definitely a slow Overlord.
Maybe he just can't find the right gear. It's like, I'm stuck in the first.
Stuck in third. I'm right in the clutch. All right, Overlord's gone down, and he did cancel that Overlord speed quite deliberately, I'm sure. Happy with the getting information. Just a little bit of drone damage, but losing 2 adepts does sting.
Yeah, 2 adepts for 2 drones, I think in general is a trade that Protoss players are not very happy with. Yes, he forced out a Spore Crawler as well, but this is not really it. I'm always a bit shocked when I see players at this caliber seeing their adepts split up, right? Like, that just means more surface area for these Zerglings to attack those 2 adepts. In general, you always want to keep them together and tuck them between those mineral patches.
We gotta see Reynor lock down the safety here against the Stargate plays. Ling's coming on that front line. This is a little bit annoying for Trap. He does have his adepts there holding that front door, but these Oracles trying to get some drone damage are getting battered back by the Queens. Oh, Ling's sneaking on through. That's what I'm talking about. The Lings always just seem to get in here for Reynor.
Yeah, I think he was forced to cancel that battery because you don't really want to wall yourself in. But this kind of stuff is very awkward. The Oracle Phoenix opening didn't really do any damage. He lost the adepts. This may have seemed like a game where not too much has happened yet, but I'm sure that Trap is very unhappy with it. Look at the amount of money that Trap has right now. 900 minerals. That's not the amount of minerals you ever want to see in your bank in this phase in the game.
Yeah, floating over 1,000 right now. Trap really a little shaky at this point. I mean, what do you do when you have a bank like this? Do you try and just take the later 3rd Nexus? I guess
oh my goodness.
Go down. Oh, Trap. Oh, he's having a rough one, Roddy. This series has been very, very rough for the Protoss so far.
Yeah, it seems when it rains, it pours in this game. The Lings are being annoying. The macro wasn't working out. The openings weren't there for the Stargate units. The adepts early on didn't really work out. He's still, I mean, he is going up to 3 bases, but down 7 workers and already losing an Oracle.
And finding it tough to spend his money. You know, he hasn't exactly got production or anything like that. It's just that his build got messed with by that Ling run by.
And that Twilight and Forge feel late as well, no? It's going to take a long time before we're going to see some Archons out. Maybe Storm down the line. I mean, last game, it's kind of funny how this whole dance between like Ravager, Bane, and like the Archons and Immortals and Storm, yes or no Storm, right, works. There's Oracles in...
That's very deep, but it should survive. Queen's going for the injection. Spore did soften it up.
I really feel that the Zergs have leveled up. It's like, if they don't go Storms, should I still make Banelings? Yes, just a lot more, you know? Exactly. Instead of having the 15 Banelings, if I just make 45 Banelings, I can blow up Archons, because they can blow up anything if they can just connect. And in the last game, well, they were able to connect. And of course, you can say that Trap could have maybe spaced his units out a little bit better. But then the downside of like spacing your units out too much is that Lynx can get full surrounds on those Protoss units. And then they also die quicker, right? So it's kind of pick your poison. It's like, do I clump them up and be bad against Banelings, or do I spread them out a lot and be very vulnerable and susceptible to Zergling surrounds?
We had that conversation with Reynor where I'm like, oh, how do you deal? Well, Cyril and I were asking, how do you deal with that mass Archon play? It's like Banelings. We both looked at him and went, what?
Yeah.
But of course, game one showed us that it's exactly how you deal with it. It's very, very nice. We are seeing the Templar Archives come down here. A pretty standard follow-up here for Trap. Just feels like it's a little bit slow.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he was thrown off, right? Oh no, Trap is going to lose his second Oracle as well here.
We're just praising his Oracle control, but it just seems like he's not quite himself right now.
Maybe nerves, maybe.
Yeah.
It's hard to point, but obviously Reynor is playing just excellent, right? In this entire best of 5. Reynor is maybe looking forward to a date with Cero in the semifinals, but we're not there yet, and I would never count a man like Trap out. He has made miraculous comebacks in the past. Going into Storm a lot quicker. He's like, all right, if you're going to make that amount of Banelings, I just need Storm. There's no other way to deal with this.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. He needs splash damage against an army like this when he's not really got that front line of those big heavy hitting Archons, all those hit points. Hallucinated Phoenix is getting a look in. Seeing the Spire is important here for Trap. Of course, he already has a Stargate. But just having that information is really important here because you've got to keep on top of these tech switches from the Zerg. 9 mutas on the way here for Reynor.
Yep, Phoenixes are being produced right now for Trap. That's an interesting choice by Reynor. We've seen it obviously quite a bit in the past in this matchup. It can work. You don't want to lose that.
Oh boy.
You don't want to lose those, Trap, because you're going to need those to defend against the mutas.
Feels like he's lost about 500 gas to these 3 queens here.
Yep. Obviously, Reynor is going to go back into Roaches behind all of this. He's also dropping the Infestation Pit, so he can go into the Spire. He can go into Brood Lords much later. But I think there's a realistic opportunity for these mutas to not only be annoying, but get some damage done as well.
Completely agree with you. The Phoenix count is just not impressive right now. There's the first wave of mutas. They are flying on in, and there's a bit more than Trap probably expected here. He does have the Prism with the Archons in it, and a couple Phoenixes, so good control. He is pushing them away from his production at the moment. And there are some units sort of waiting for him in that low ground. Not a ton of them shoot up, though. Just the Archons and the Sentries.
Yeah, Reynor really does want to get something out of these mutas, and he's going to find a couple of probes. Finds a Phoenix that just popped as well, doesn't immediately kill it. Will still be able to kill it in the end because Trap didn't actually truly send it away. And I think these mutas could be in some trouble. They may finally go down soon, but they've already done more than I thought they would.
Trying to get another Phoenix here. He's actually losing a few of these mutas. You know, mutas are relatively expensive, but he is finding damage. Meanwhile, Reynor from the north. Nice force fields from Trap for the most part. A little bit of an opening on the left, though. Oh, those Banelings are finding that chewy inside of this crunchy exterior of Protoss, and they've done so much damage.
And the Muta's actually helping out here as well. They can activate the barriers of those Immortals. They're adding some decent DPS as well. There's still quite a bit of Zerg. I like that little squad of Trap on the north side. That could be enough, but Trap cannot go out too far. The Lynx could be a problem here, even though we see a couple of Zealots running in as well.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a lot of Lings.
I would go back.
More on the way. Yeah, got to pull back to that 4th Nexus.
Yep.
Let's get another warp in around here. So both players trading a fair bit of army right there, and the dust is settling at the moment. Reynor on 90 workers right now, by the way, as that hive gets close to finishing up.
Yep, and he's going to end up losing his last 2 mutas here, but that's kind of the story, right, of game 1 as well and game 2. Reynor doesn't even have to take the absolute best fights. Reynor just needs to make sure that Protoss army stays small, because he's outmining his opponent by quite a bit.
Yeah, it does on paper seem pretty rough for Trap. He's down a lot in supply. He does have that 4th Nexus. Contaminate there on the robotics facility. It's cute, but oh, Banelings coming in from the north. They're going to hit these cannons first. The probe pullback, quite nice from Trap actually.
Yep.
Taking relatively little damage.
The +2 wasn't ready yet, but it is about to finish up. So the next time this happens, once again, every single Baneling can kill multiple probes. And that's where it becomes really important for the Protoss to pay attention and make sure that they don't connect. That's quite a quick lead beacon, right? All things considered. This has not been a game that I'd be very happy with if I was Trap. I'd feel quite stressed out, I'd feel worried, but he's already getting a beacon.
Going to carrier right now, I guess, the follow-up plan for Trap, but it's going to be so expensive. Banelings looking for those probes, get 4 there. And a little bit of a scuffle up there on that high ground. Another run by Dead Archon here, going to go down. Static defense not going to be enough. Warp in from Trap to try and slow down those Banelings. The probes are getting stuck and stacked up a little bit here, but he does actually keep most of them alive.
Wow, I can't believe he didn't lose more probes. They're only losing 5. That is very impressive. Still defending this port base as well. Trap is playing a lot better in the last minute and a half of this game. The shame is that the first 7 or 8 minutes really did not work out at all.
Yeah, he's gone from a lot of money to not much here. He started the Mothership first here. That's,
It's good against just Banelings, right? Like if you can just cloak your High Templars, you can cloak your Immortals, it's really good. But I don't think Reynor is just going to keep rolling Banelings into this main army. The Great Aspire has now been started, and Reynor is just looking for more and more economic damage.
yeah, his trademark run buys. He's not stopping. He's got plenty of money in the bank, so why not throw a few Lings away? Just realizes that he has enough to actually take a decent trade here against these Zealots. He doesn't have Adrenal, but he does have +2 and a lot of Lings, so he gets a few of them before he pulls back.
The first Tempests are already being produced before the Great Aspire is even done. So at least when it comes to that part of the game, Trap is going to be ready for the first wave, right? Like, but where do you go after? What do you do if Reynor doesn't attack? Are you going to attack? Are you going to step on creep? I mean, these are questions that we have to ask ourselves, but I mean, I must say, Trap has done a good job in the last 2-3 minutes of still turning this into a game, because it started to look really rough, but he's defending right now like his tournament life depends on it, and that's not totally the case yet, but nobody wants to go down 0-2.
Absolutely not. Every single map matters so much at this, the biggest tournament of the year here for StarCraft 2. We've got those Tempests, like you mentioned, still in production, 2 and 2x2 here, but as we can see in the production tab for the Zerg, Pathogen Glands on the way, Infesta, Broodlord not far away, and Reynor going double Spire even for double upgrades on those air units.
Yep. More Banelings morphing, getting those upgrades. Oh, High Templars!
There we go.
Oh, that's nice. I like the SimCity there as well. Good warp in there by Trap. Clutch warp in.
Yeah, very nice. Good defense here from the Protoss. Of course, when it comes down to going across the map, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. The Banelings like to connect with those High Templar, but they turn into an Archon just in time. Yep. Just losing Zealots is actually okay here.
Trap's just seeming a little more on the money right now, right? It seems like he's finally finding his rhythm. We don't see any random units being sacrificed anymore. He's saving units when he can. The probe saves were excellent. He's even stepping on creep now. I mean, there's a lot.
Play.
Yeah, there's definitely a ballsy play. There's a couple of Root Lords here. I mean, maybe?
I mean, there's no Infestus just yet. Oh, the Banelings found that opening. Grabs attention on the other side of the map. There goes 18 probes, and the Lings running by into the natural as well. Very annoying for Trap here, taking a big 8-com damage. He does still have a scary army on the front line, so if Trap can make a big counterattack here and find some counter damage, his game's going to stay alive, but it doesn't look amazing here.
No, he needs way more than he's getting so far. He's going to drop a couple of storms, and yes, they are connecting with Lings, but he needs more. That's the danger of moving out as well, right? It's like, yeah, it's cool that you're pushing back the creep, but can you still defend as well as you did in the last 3 minutes? No, you can't if the units are out of position. I mean, you got to give it to Reynor. Obviously, he's there immediately with the run by in the natural, and that did not work out. And every second that goes by now is 1 second that I think Reynor is very happy with, and Trap is going to be less happy with, because those Infestors that you mentioned, Maynard, they're coming.
They're out. They're here. And they're ready to complement those Broodlords. And it's just pretty tough here for the Protoss to deal with that. Corrupt is coming on forward. If Fungal goes down those units, detecting them, doing some splash damage as well. Storms on those Lings, pushing that ground army of the Zerg back. The Mothership's got to go down. And this army of Trap is surrounded by Zerg. He's going to try and stand and fight here with the Archon. He does still have some Storm energy as well for these Corruptors. The Tempest will get picked off though.
Yep, it just takes a lot of Storms, right? Reynor needs to get those Corruptors out of there. There's no need to offer them. I mean, Trap actually still surviving with quite a few units on the ground. So Reynor is now spending that bank that he's built up for a long time.
A lot of Archons.
Yep, I see no Storm here, but just those Archons, they're going to be good against the Lings. Just 1 or 2 Broodlords right now would complicate things a lot. But maybe Trap can get a base, maybe even the Great Aspire.
Maybe even get the Broodlords before they're done. Trap coming forward with those Archons, and the Immortals doing incredible damage into the Satchery. The Lings coming down to push that Protoss back. Reynor needs these Broodlords to hold on. He's going to take a lot of damage here. That Charge Lot coming in for the side here. 14 drones and the base goes down.
I feel like if he gets the Great Aspire here, this is massive for Trap. Trap wants more. I think he just wants the game, but I would have settled for the Great Aspire.
He's turning and firing on it now. A little bit late to the party, but getting it is a nice pick-off. There is a second Spire for Reynor as well. Did that go down?
Yep, but no, I don't think that went down yet. Baneling Nest, that's also a very big pick-up. He recalls, no, yeah.
No!
Oh,
Zealots, get in there!
Oh.
Get in there! Get in there! Get it done! No! Oh, I mean, the Great Aspire is off creep, so it is going to start to bleed out, but of course, he can spread it a little bit.
Oh, that would be funny.
Doesn't have a transfuse just yet. Okay, some high energy queens coming in. They're going to save that thing.
That
sucks.
He dropped the transfuse as well, right before the end, when the main army was still there. Dropped only a single transfuse, but it was enough to keep it alive. The Zealots were a bit indecisive.
Well, the reason why I was asking about that second Spire is worst case scenario, Reynor can use some of his money to get that second Great Aspire down, but it does slow down the Broodlords. And the Zerg is not very rich right now, so a good fight for the Protoss definitely can snowball, but it's gotten to that point again where it's going to be tough for the Protoss to attack.
This is where Reynor realized he's losing his Baneling Nest, or he lost his Baneling Nest. He's like, oh, I can morph these Zerglings into Banelings?
He lost his Infestors as well, actually.
Yep.
Seeing one more in production here, but there's not too many out in the field at the moment. for the Italian Zergs. Primarily Broodlords. This air army is still quite scary. So we have Viper, just a 4 Infestor hit squad here for Reynor, which just isn't huge at the moment.
This is kind of cool though, the double prism going into the main base. I don't know if maybe the hive, maybe the infestation pit.
At least the Zealots in here.
He's rebuilding the Bailing Nest. Well, that one is not going to finish up, so...
And Trap going to put some hurt on the Zerg side of the map here as he goes towards that 5th Nexus to the south, 6 o'clock base. And then come those prisms. Now, Reynor's air army isn't too far away, so he's moving it intercept. That's a lot of Zealots. He's going to warp in more here.
Wow. That's actually kind of cool. I mean, the Bailing Nest does get sniped, no cancel on that. A couple of Zealots will go down.
That's wonderful for Trap.
And he's buying time, right? Like, Trap can actually get some more stuff going. I wouldn't mind seeing +2 air weapons, for instance. Like, if this game is going to go long, you want to go those air upgrades. They're very important.
Oh, going for the spawning pool here. That's also very annoying, as Reynor loves his Zerglings and can't get anywhere near Banelings if you don't have any links. So getting those spawning pools quite nice, because that means less static defense, less spore crawlers, all the things that the Zerg wants to do to slow this game down so they can get those spell casters and broodlords up.
Are there no corruptors on the map at all? There are 5.
5, not that many.
They're with the main army.
It's like a lot of Archons will be very, very scary here. Just some of those Tempests helping out against the Broods.
120 army supply for Reynor. Reynor is maxed out once again, but it's very heavy on the links, and because he hasn't had a Baneling nest in quite some time, he doesn't have the same amount of Banes as he had before. Well, actually he has 0 Banes.
That is a problem, so at least Trap knows these probes are going to be safe for quite a while. Those Infestors are getting pretty high in energy here. More and more Archons coming in. I love just a heavy amount of Archons for Trap. I think that's a brilliant idea against what we're seeing right now. They're very hard to slow down, and if they can get anywhere near the Corruptors and obviously the Infestors, they will mow through them. +3 attack on the way for Trap. Feels like these upgrades have been a little slow. Alright, Roach is coming in with some lings here. They find that 5th Nexus.
One pylon. I mean, you can just go for the pylon here, and that makes your life a little bit easier. Reynor realizing that as well. All of these cannons are going to get unpowered. I'm not sure where the army is. The army is all the way on the right top
Tower
side.
with the prison.
Yeah,
why not?
Can do that.
He's bringing the Stalkers. Looks like he's going to be able to seal defense here at least.
Don't forget that Neuroparasite is on.
Oh! It was an offensive recall. Where's this recall going to go to? It's going everywhere. The Vipers have pulled the mothership out of position.
What?
Was this actually a good play?
I don't know if this is good. I mean, the Broodlords are very exposed. The Archon's got a couple of shots off. The Tempests are just going crazy. I have no idea what we're watching.
The Archons are doing incredible damage down here on the low ground. Immortals and Archons in the main picking up the Corruptors. The Tempests have picked up the Broodlords. What are we watching right now?
Neuroparasite kicking in now as well. So a couple of these Archons are attacking the Immortals at this point. I've seen a lot of StarCraft fights in my life. I've never seen that fight.
And I mean, offensive recalls and motherships are rare, but an offensive recall on a mothership that's in the middle of it, a Viper, yoink, even rarer. What a crazy moment there in this game. Reynor does have a fair bit of money. He's going to try and replenish that army supply, but Trap's not going to give him space. He's coming forward with reinforcements.
The more you space out, though, the better the Zerglings become, right? And that's kind of what's happening here. The Lynx are getting some fantastic surface area on all of these Archons, and just Gateway units are not going to cut it here. The War Prism is going to try to save the day, but that's not going to be enough either.
Down goes the Prism, and Rainer's reinforcements more than enough to hold on here. He pushes Trap back, grabbing an Tempest for himself. Why not? Filing that down, and Trap has only 7 army supply left in this game.
That was such a wild fight, man. Like I said, I've seen a lot of StarCraft fights in my life. I've never seen that one. But the more spaced out it gets, the better those Zerglings become. And these Zerglings, they are as feisty as they will ever be. +3 Adreno glands. So if the Lynx can surround Protoss units, those Protoss units just disappear so quickly.
And there is not enough money in the bank and not enough production here for Trap to get that convincing army again. It's going to be... I just don't see how he steals this game away from Reynor anymore. It feels like Reynor's done everything right off the offset of that defense.
Yep. And I mean, that 5th base went down as well, right? On the bottom side of the map, 6 o'clock. So that was a massive loss. We have a little bit of long distance mining now, but it seems that Trap is all out of steam.
Gee, there it is. Bit of a weird ending, but Reynor managing to snatch that one. He's having a bit of a chuckle with himself, and he probably hasn't seen what we just saw just then either.
It's like one of those things that you activate, and then in the middle of it, you're like, is this actually good for me or not? And it's like, how do you micro, right? Like all the, I mean, the Archons underneath, the Broodlords, they were doing fantastic, but at one point, everything just got so wild. But it did seem the longer it went on, obviously you're fighting on the side of the Zerg as well, right? And that means that the Lynx, they immediately pop, they can then surround the units, and slowly but steady, that fight went better and better for Reynor.
Yeah, all right, well, before we get into Game 3, guys, we'll take a short break. Do not go away. Reynor and Trap, Game 3 next.
BlizzCon 2019 is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of BlizzCon. Facebook Gaming, A world of play. Samsung SSD. Performance gamers trust. Corsair. Do your thing. And by NVIDIA.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, Connie.
That's some accident. I can help you file a claim on the State Farm app.
My insurance app doesn't do that.
Indeed. Let's split a cab to the car.
The future waits for no one, so we refuse to wait for it. We're not just pilots and engineers. We are pioneers. Today, battles are waged in nanoseconds, and planes are piloted from the other side of the world. We turn night into day and fly missions in space. The future's not coming. It's already here. This is the future. Join us and be the future.
G'day StarCraft fans and welcome back to the Global Finals here, the final round of 8 here at the Anaheim Convention Center in BlizzCon. It's truly a magical place. Always feel the energy here in the arena, and it's so good to be back here in this nice big packed out place, honestly. The crowd's been really loud. You guys have been super passionate and super noisy for the greatest esport of all time, so round of applause for all you guys out there.
And the good news is that we have a lot of the greatest esports of all time, man.
We do. We have a ton of those games.
Yeah, it's going to be a very long day, but I think it's going to be a truly epic day. I loved our first quarterfinals. It was really good. And I mean, what to think of our fourth quarterfinals? I mean, Maru and Dark going up against each other later today.
I'm excited for that one. I'm really excited. You know, as a Terran fan myself, I'm really looking forward to it. I think that, you know, Maru actually has a relatively solid shot there. He's got the best TVZ in the world. If anyone could do it, it's him.
Yeah, no, I genuinely believe it as well. I know a lot of people are almost counting him out. It was like, no. Maru did not travel to America to just lose, okay? He's not going to just show up and lose. But let's go back to our second quarterfinals of the day, which is this one between the lovely Reynor and Trap. For Trap, it's just not really working out so far. And yes, of course, like Reynor is playing incredibly well, but it also feels like Trap is making it extra hard on himself. He has like 2 minutes where everything goes wrong, and then suddenly he's like, I'm waking up, I'm trapped, and I'm going to play good again.
Well, he'll have to wake up here and he'll have to do it 3 games in a row because this kid is on match point. In the far left here, on Disco Bloodbath, he is Reynor! That's what I'm talking about, Anaheim. And if you want to see this kid start to do some damage in this series, lend him your energy from Jeanette Greenwings on the verge of elimination. He is Trap! So happy and so impressed with both these players, honestly. Like, both these players coming to the round of 8 for the first time and just showing that they are truly the greatest in the world. But it's been, I mean, it's the elephant in the room in this series, Roddy, is it's been all Reynor, game 1 and game 2.
Yep, and we haven't even seen some of the other stuff, right? That was so dominant in the round of 16 when it comes to the Swarmers and Nidus play. I mean, it's mostly a Korean Zerg thing, but we're like, well, if it's that
Reynor
good...
doesn't like it.
Yeah, I was like, if it's that good, then maybe Reynor is going to bust it out as well. Like, nope, it's been relatively standard, straightforward. Reynor, I think, has really matured a lot in his gameplay, and he's more passive. Like, we used to know him as this aggressive player with the Ling run-bys, and that's cool and all, but if that's all you do, your opponents are going to play overly passive. And Reynor is learning from that so quickly. He's like, well, if you're not doing anything, then I'm just going to go up to 80 drones. Like, it's up to you to do something about this, and then I can still be Reynor, right? I can still make 1 million banelings, but I'm doing it with a massive economy. So even if 1 or 2 run-bys don't work out, or 1 or 2 trades, who cares, right? You've got all the money in the world.
Defending until Hive Tech, a pretty solid strategy. Don't worry, all you guys out there in Twitch chat and also here in the arena that love your Nidus Worms and Swarm hosts, Rogue will be next.
I mean, Classic had 9 days to get ready, so I truly hope he did, right?
Oh, I like this. All right, Trap. Show me the money here. I want to see a nice big early play to try and get some damage.
But I feel like if you build it here, wouldn't it be better to build a little bit further towards the left where you have that side blocker? There's like some smoke there on the high ground. I think a little bit further to the south. Awesome saucer.
Yeah, that right there, yeah.
Like, this is a sweet area. Because I feel like this one is more likely to get scouted.
I feel like
that one.
If the Overlord's going to come to the south, it's going to get scouted anyway, but you're right. It is a little bit longer of a flight path, and we are going to see a proxy Stargate from Trap as we kind of expected. So, going to try and get a lot of money into early drone damage. And if you can make that happen, then we'll be heading to the mid-game a lot more comfortable. And don't forget, the start of game 2 was really bad for Trap.
Uh-oh.
Rut roll.
Well,
where are you going, little fella?
Well, I think it's going straight to the Stargate. Oh, come on.
Oh,
I see where it stopped as well. I think that's where it's stopping. I don't... Oh,
yeah, he's shift-clicking everywhere, but the final resting place was... Oh, he corrected the path.
Oh, he changed it. Now he's actually going to check the side blocker and not the... Oh my god, Trap's so smart.
See that, Roddy?
So he would have scouted this one and not the obvious one?
See,
all right.
This is why Trap doesn't listen to you. This is why he's in the round of 8 and you're here with me.
You know what? I've got nothing to say, man. I got owned, okay?
All right, well, the Stargate does get scouted, but of course the Oracle is about to pop. Emergency Spore Crawler is being dropped here for Reynor. I mean, he should be okay, I feel, but there could be some drone damage for sure.
I mean, the first one is going to definitely show up before this Spore Crawler is done.
It's going to be pretty close. And he
I
uses
mean,
Chrono Boost.
Spore's actually built super fast. Maybe it's going to have like half a second to get some damage in there, but the Queen is already in the right position. No, Spore finishes up. I mean, this is massive for Reynor, right? Because now, what do you do if you're trapped? Do you go home with your Oracle? Oh, so I wouldn't do that.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of damage on that Oracle. He does find the drone line that doesn't have a Spore Crawler, but that Oracle is so softened up, and he doesn't have a ton of dead air here.
Is there another Queen
here?
No,
Queen at the third. All right, saving grace here for Trap. At least the first Oracle does continue to survive.
But the pylon, though, can we take a look at the pylon of the Stargate? Okay, no, these links, the number was...
He's got a depth actually covering them.
Oh, that's smart. They're almost hidden.
Yeah, almost. Second Oracle out here for Trap as he continues through the build order, heading towards Robotics Facility now to get to switch gears a little bit, but the Oracles are still alive, and he's still, you know, a present threat to the Zerg, so that's something that Reynor needs to actually respect.
Yeah, I'm very happy that Trap was able to keep his Oracle alive, even if he didn't get the damage that he was looking for. What I normally love of Trap's play so much is that he's quite patient, right? He's like, oh, I don't get the damage immediately, no worries, I'll get it a little bit later. He just ate an insane amount of damage on one of his Oracles, but at least he kept it alive. These Adepts, they were going in, but he also knew that Zergling speed wasn't done yet.
Just one Queen here with that Spore, but fighting outside of Spore range. The health is regenerated on the shields there for that damaged Oracle. Gets 3 drones and pulls out, and that's more than fine here for the Protoss.
Yep, as long as he keeps them alive. One Phoenix, I think, has been produced out of this target as well, so you can start hunting for a couple of Overlords.
Like no third Oracle, rather, coming down here for the Protoss, but the Adepts finding a naked third base, going for that drone line. Quick response from Reynor, though. Very quick response. These Adepts, they're not going home.
Are there 2 more Adepts shading into the natural? Did I see that correctly?
Yes, there is. A lot of drones here. And they are one-shotting these drones, or at least they spread their shots just now.
Oh, but he still got both in the end. That was sweet. Yeah, that was sweet.
All right, and that Adept just denying some surface area here on those links, waiting for that shade to kick in. She's just going to survive and head into that main base. Very annoying for Reynor. One more. Unimas. Oh, not quite. Not quite.
At least he forced out another sport.
9 drone kills, though. Those Oracles still stacking up those kills.
Yep, and the Oracles, there's no Queen here. Maybe they can grab 1 or 2 drones very quick.
Ooh, spreading that damage. Unfortunately, it loses an Oracle. Dug a little bit deep there. Unfortunately, got punished for his greed with those Oracles.
If you guys wonder what we got so excited about, sometimes it's hard to see everything, but 2 Adepts shot at 2 different drones, and then the drones were moving away, and of course it takes 2 hits to pick off a drone. And normally you fire at the same target, but Trap misfired, but he's like, don't worry, I got you guys. And then he split it again, which was actually a pretty cool move, and was able to get both drones in the end.
Reynor running past the happiest Ewok in the whole world there, and as a Protoss push coming forward here, Immortal, a couple sentries, a handful of Zealots which don't have charge. This is one of those weird, wonky attacks that can fire damage, but Reynor...
I mean, Reynor has been incredibly greedy. No, he doesn't have anything. I mean, he's gonna get Zerglings, and he does have a sick economy. That's what he has. So if Reynor loses 10 drones here, that's not even a big deal. Just the most important thing is, can he ever get Ravages out? Because there are a lot of force fields available here.
It certainly is, and Ling's not going to be happy about that. Sporecrawler coming forward here, just trying to push back. Those Stargate units prison potentially as well. Ling's coming forward, baits out 1 force field. This attack from Trap is looking a little scary, Roddy.
Yeah, he could maybe go up the rep here even and just keep the Queens at bay. I mean, the Roaches are being produced now, but that means no Ravages for quite some time. This is it, Trap.
Oh, the Queens denied from the natural. Trap whooping in right in Reynor's face as this is time to get a point here. He's right on top of the production facility.
He's already getting 10, 11 drones. He wants more, of course. Oh, that one Immortal is a bit exposed by itself. The War Prism is going to try to save it and will save it. I mean, Trap already getting a base. This is the most success that Trap has had with any of his attacks so far.
And he's got 1 more force field there, and actually a couple more force fields on those sentries as well. Juggling with that Prison, the drones to be pulled. 16 of them going down. Trap's looking all right here. Reinforcements Reynor coming in. This Warp in will seal the deal. If Trap can get this in, and he does. More Zealots coming on in, and Reynor, he has 9 Roaches, but he has lost so much economy.
And don't forget that War Prism is still full on HP as well, so Trap can use it to save these Immortals for as long as he possibly needs. He's gonna corner these Roaches. Reynor was simply a little too greedy here. 65 drones, no Roach War, no Baneling Nest. You're asking for trouble.
And trouble is exactly what Trap is bringing in here in the game 3. Not a second 3-0 here. The Protoss is all over him. And this is going to be Trap's chance to get some reverse damage on Reynor.
Well done by Trap. He really kept Reynor busy for quite some time. Like, it felt risky what he was doing with the Adepts, with the Oracles, but he kept him in the dark just long enough and made it seem like, yeah, Disco Bloodbath is a very big map. Like, the last thing I would ever do is run to the other side of the map with 45 drones and a bunch of sentries, or probes rather, because that doesn't make any sense. But often these things, because they don't make any sense, they are so freaking good. Reynor was simply too greedy and got caught with his pants down.
Yeah, I doubt we're going to see Reynor cut too many corners there for game number 4. Just not too far away from happening. It's been a pretty entertaining series so far. I was very, very worried it was going to be 3-0 after those first 2 games because just, you know, it was all Reynor from the early game onwards, especially in game 1. Very, very one-sided. Game 2, there was a moment there, we were talking a little bit off camera where the Mothership, if it actually did get the tactical recall in the main base, strategic recall main base, we feel like actually Trap could have taken a pretty good fight there. And, I mean, game 3, already mentioned it. Just too greedy, punished by a slow Zealot attack with just a ton of force fields and without Ravages. You're not going to stop that.
And what I wonder about right now is how does Reynor deal with some adversity here, right? Like everything went fantastic so far in this quarterfinals. The biggest match of his career. I think it's safe to say, yes, he has won circuit
The trap
events.
as well.
But this is, I mean, the global finals. You're here live in Anaheim. You're in the center of this arena. First 2 maps, almost everything went perfect. Sure, a couple of sloppy mistakes maybe here and there. But the economy was there. He was having fun. Things went well. Now suddenly he dies to an attack that I know every Zerg player of that level will say, I should never lose to that build. And like, can he stay calm, right? Can he stay composed and keep himself collected, move on and still be strong in game 4? Or is this going to haunt him a little bit?
You got to reset that mentality and just keep playing his game plan. I mean, Reynor has been looking so good in the series, even though he's just lost a map here. He still is on match point. And all he needs to do, reset that mindset, throw away that game. It was a frustrating loss, no doubt, here for Reynor, but just play his way and not cut too many corners. Trap is still a scary opponent, and as long as he has 1 life, he is always going to be a threat in this series.
He really is. We have 2 more maps to go. Winter's Gate and the World of Sleepers. It's game 4. World of Sleepers is a feisty last map.
It's a tough one for Protoss there in PvZ. Winter's Gate, though, a little bit short of a rush distance. Some pushes do happen on this map. A lot of attack paths that are also a little bit weird. Obviously, the inhibitor zones sort of make the map a little fuzzy, but let's get into it, guys, and just watch the action unfold. In the top left here, he's still on match point. It is Game of Origins, Reynor! In the bottom right, finally getting a point on the board from Jinair Green Wings. Give it up for Trap! Trap's actually winning a bit of the crowd here, Roddy. Excited to see this Protoss Stallion get some damage. I like it.
I think as a Protoss player these days, you're actually loved, you know. We used to get a lot of backlash for our lasers, but these days, when the Zergs are doing so well, people like lasers. People are starting to fall in love with the lasers.
It actually was amazing to see a green room people cheer so hard for Mass Carrier at Storm. That wouldn't have happened last year.
No, I know. It's like, never thought that comp would ever be popular in the green room. Anyway, we'll see. Like I said, for me the big story here is how does Reynor deal with a loss on a stage this big, right? He's quite an experienced player already for a 17-year-old. He has played in the WSGs, he has played in a lot of circuit events, he has traveled around the world, he has lifted trophies, he has beat the best players out there, but this is still one of those moments, you know? 45 probe attack on Disco Bloodbath, just didn't see it coming. Or maybe he just forgot his Roach One. What's possible as well, it's like obviously we don't know what happened in the brain of Reynor, but maybe he thought he had a Roach One and he just completely forgot. And the moment he's like, I'm gonna build some roaches, he's like, oh my god, I don't have a Roach One, right? That's possible as well.
And it does happen at this level even, you know, these are the best 8 players in the whole world playing against each other right now on stage. But we've seen a lot of mistakes from Trap, we've seen mistakes from Reynor, except I guess Cyril hasn't made any mistakes, but other than that, these guys are still human after all. Cyril, jury's still out on that one.
Cyril made mistakes, but that was in 2017. We have to go back.
Yeah.
No. We'll see. But I think it has a lot to do with the pressure as well, right? Like, I think if you would put these 2 guys in their own comfortable bedroom environment and they can just play the games the way they always do, and it's for nothing, you're often going to see higher level of gameplay. But these guys, they often get better as well. With every map they play, they start getting more comfortable on the stage like this, and they're able to block everything else a little more and focus on the game just a bit better.
Trap being very annoying here, putting a pylon on location to slow down that third hatchery. Usually the Zerg wants it about 2.5 minutes, so it does get slowed down. He's going to cancel that pylon, costing him 25 minerals, but does slow down the economy of the Zerg ever so slightly.
Yeah, I do think Trap is always quite happy, right? If he's able to block the natural at first, you force the Zerg player to expand a little bit later. I often talk about this being a snowball effect, because a lot of the drones that are being produced right now in the main base, they have to be rallied all the way towards the third, and that means that it takes a little bit longer before that economy truly starts kicking in. It's not massive, but I can guarantee you that every Protoss player who can get this done in the beginning is like, yeah, nice start.
So even though this is a shorter sort of flight path for the Overlords, it is a bit of a trek, and we're seeing Reynor go into Overlord speed here, 75 mil, 75 gas for that, just to make sure, just to keep everything open, and of course that means you can actually be annoying with Nidus Worms as well, as long as you have those Overlords out. But the Phoenix, first unit out of that Stargate for Trap with the Oracle to follow, going to push back these Overlords. Does Reynor just cancel the speed or just keep going with it? It is such a lovely upgrade, and it's actually not that expensive.
I think after what happened in the last game, you always want to get Overlord speed, right? Because it's safe to say that Reynor just didn't really see it coming. He was a bit too busy chasing Oracles around, fighting a pylon, fighting a Stargate, fighting at depths, that he forgot what could have possibly been happening in the main base. So I think it's very smart to invest in Overlord speed in this game, because that happening once in the best of 5, it is what it is. But if it would happen again here, I mean, all the momentum that Reynor built up for himself in the first 2 games would be completely gone, and it would be in the corner of Trap.
Yeah, just play safe. He's favored in the late game. The safer strategies here seem to be what's going to get Reynor the W in the end. We're seeing the Twilight Council and the Robotics Facility go down in the Trap, so possibly some more Icon play coming forward. A Prism nonetheless.
Very curious to see where he's going with it. Trap dives in there, gets 2 drones, and gets out of there, takes 1 or 2 extra shots. Wow, Flaves indeed.
That's it, Nathan Flaves. All right. Trap getting me a little bit excited here, but of course this time Reynor did not forget his Roach Warren, and Roaches are definitely the unit you want to have to fight this back when you're going toe-to-toe.
Yeah, it's really funny. Like, most Zerg players will obviously like, yeah, you need Roaches against the Adepts, and then the Protoss players are like, oh, I prefer going up against Roaches, you know? Like, Banelings are very scary for Adepts. The truth is, it can be both. It just truly depends how the Adepts are being used, right? And like where the units are being positioned. I kind of like this by Trap. Reynor is gonna scout it. But
yeah, when you see Chrono on the Twilight Council, you know that an attack is coming.
A lot of Lings are being produced here. A couple of extra Queens as well, but the Roaches are not out yet. And if these Adepts, like, instead of keeping all Adepts together, what I sometimes like is splitting them up between multiple bases. It's a scary move, but if you can get like 10, 15 drones, it's absolutely worth it. That's not a fight I would really recommend the Zerglings to take, even before Resonating Glaives is done.
A few of them are stuck in the inhibitor zone as well. The Adepts are more than happy to just run through here, because the Lings come and fight. They're going to take a pretty good engagement. The Queen's helping out, but there's that first shade forward, and Trap's going to be bouncing to and fro here against the Zerg.
Cancel? No, he's not going to cancel.
Oh, wow.
That. Glaives is not done yet. It's going to finish off right now, but there are a couple of Roaches here in the right position.
He's getting quite a few Zergling kills, is losing these Adepts, getting a couple drones kills, so it's not really about worker damage here for Trap, but he did get a lot of Lings. So there was a trade for both players there, but it's hard to know where they stand at the moment. So there we go. All right, so that was a lot of Lings, 26 of them going down, and only 4 Adepts dying so far. So it's sort of it's a good trade.
Yeah, but it's just minerals, right? And minerals you often have plenty of. This is the beauty of already having Resonating Glaive, right? Whenever you can just randomly shape 2 Adepts into a Zerg base, you can get a couple of drones very quickly. So I like that so far by Trap, and of course he's getting Immortals. You always have to respect the potential Roach counterattack, but with those Immortals you are going to be safe. Wow, was there no lair yet for Reynor?
No red lair yet, so no Roach speed, and you know, having speed, Banelings, that sort of thing, all the things that Reynor wants to go into, it's tougher to get.
It's quite late, right? That's going to mean that everything else is going to be late. Baneling speed is going to be late and stuff like that. With Oracle being annoying, good job there by Reynor, just picking up the stasis trap instead.
Yeah, and the Oracle is going to fly through. Even with the inhibitor zone, the Oracle's going to escape death right there. And yeah, just everyone's just sort of licking their wounds, just chilling back at home. I mean, Reynor just wants to get some Ravagers and Banelings out here, so that if the Protoss does want to come across the map, he can just knock back those force fields, get on top of the Immortals, get on top of the Gateway units. So he's more than happy for Trap to just sit back.
Yeah, the first Ravagers are going to morph now that Banelingness is about to finish up, so it's important you immediately fire up Baneling speed, right? Slow Banelings are just not going to cut it. But I must say, I think this has been a pretty sweet game so far by Trap. I was kind of questioning like him letting the Shade finish up. I was like, I'm not sure if you're getting much done there. He didn't, but he also got out of there with a couple of Adepts, then he got a few more drones afterwards. And of course, you're forcing out a lot of units, right? So it's not always about the drones you kill. Like 5-6 minutes into the game, forcing out units is a real thing. And it's not something like Zerg players don't over want to make units, don't want to have too many units. So it worked out. This is a great scout.
Yeah,
the Spire gets planted down in the main base, and Trap is there immediately with a hallucinated Phoenix. Well done.
Yeah, loving this consistent scouting from Trap, always getting a double hallucinated Phoenix out to just make sure the Zerg is kept honest. I mean, Reynor's plan is as clear as day, get up in the hive, get Brood Lords once again, invest if he can spare them as well. A little bit of damage there from the Oracle, which is still alive, and Reynor as well getting a great scout off, seeing what's happening in the main base of Protoss and where he's at with production.
All these,
Oracle going to go down? No, it just escapes to the south.
This is the Oracle control that we're used to.
Yeah, that's the Trap Oracle right there.
Absolutely. It's been very annoying throughout the game. Getting quite a few kills here and there, getting some scouting information. Ooh, spots this army. Trap has to be careful that he doesn't overcommit, but Reynor has been banking up a little bit of money. Baneling speed is still not done. Now morphing 26 Banelings. Reynor clearly a little bit worried about this move out.
And 33 Banelings make it on the way here for Reynor. So Trap got to go for an attack, slowing down the Mutalisk tech. You know, Trap's just say, I want to come and attack you. And I want to make sure there's not too many mutants to have to worry about. He's got double Robo Immortal production back at home as well. A lot of banelings on the north side, so it looks like Reynor just wants to collapse him into a trap sandwich.
Yep, you gotta be very, very careful here. But for Reynor, this is scary too, right? Because if the rest of the army gets force-fielded out, you cannot be losing 35 banelings by themselves, because then a couple of Archons can actually get a phenomenal trade. But Trap, I don't think he's aware yet of those banelings on the north side. Trap, you're playing a very dangerous game here. He needs to know where those units are.
Playing the fire. Reynor looked like he wanted to send those banelings into the fourth Nexus, but pulled them back, was very afraid of Trap's army in the end, so definitely didn't want to throw away, like you said. You know, you don't want half your army disappearing to Archons and Immortals. And just bringing back banelings to a destroyed Zergland. And he is coming forward. Inhibitor zone's being very annoying here. Misses a couple force fields. He's trying to catch whatever he can.
Gotta be careful with your War Prism as well. Reynor is excellent in sniping those War Prisms mid-battle. Banelings coming in from the right side.
Is there enough force fields to save him? It doesn't look like it. In come the banelings. The split on the Archon, the Prism being juggled, but still so much Zerg left. Reynor crashing on through.
Those banelings connected from the left side, they went through an inhibitor zone and they still connected. Trap did save quite a few of his power units though. Look at those 2 Immortals being saved mid-battle. That was, like, it looked very dicey for Trap, but he did a phenomenal job surviving there with 5 Immortals. That's not bad at all.
And he still has double Immortal production, so he's going to have a lot of Immortals very soon. However, Immortals start to phase out when you're up against the Broods and the Corruptors and whatnot, which is definitely on the way here for Reynor. He's trying to go for a Hail Mary Bile here, trying to get that Prism with the Archons in it, but the Archons are just picking up some banelings. I like this move from Trap.
Yep, I mean, there isn't just anything to really deal with this, right? We don't have a single Muta or Corruptor out on the map. The Queens are now going to show up, making this a little bit harder. Banelings are going to connect. Look at that island, by the way. There is a backup island. The Probes, are they in trouble?
Oh, they're hiding on the right-hand side. They're running on the map here, Roddy. In come the banelings, and down they go. 13 Probes dying just like that. Trap coming back with his army. He looks like he could take this fight as long as everything together. A lot of those Ravages, though, he does need to start respecting his files and pull it back. Reinforcement Immortals for Trap. Loses the Oracle, or rather the Prism finally, so these Archons are going to have to walk back home.
I think this was all a massive victory for Trap here in the end. He's still chasing these units down. Reynor cannot afford to lose these Ravages. The biggest difference between game 1, 2, and this one, number 4, is that in those games, Reynor had 82, 91, 95 drones. Right now, he's doing all of this with 71 drones, and that makes a very big difference. These banelings are suddenly becoming expensive for Reynor as well.
Reynor's freaking out, man. He just started Aspire and cancelled it as well. He's trying to make sure that his build order is still going through, but he is under constant pressure here from Trap. In comes those Immortals. That's so scary here for a mostly baneling force. In they come. Everything is stacked up a bit, but a split from Trap, mitigating that splash damage, and he is knocking on the front door of the Zerg.
Yep, Reynor is in a lot of trouble. This hatchery is going to fall. The first few drones have already gone down. He's trying to get more banelings out, but...
Uh-oh. This is looking rough here. Where's that Prism? Is he reinforcing from the north? Yes, he is. Reynor coming in with those lings, with those banelings, but he doesn't have an army anymore, Roddy. In comes that Protoss. He's still splitting those Archons. The banelings are just not finding the splash damage, and he doesn't have anything scary to push back. All the Overlords even get taken down. He's going to have to lose units to get out of the supply block, which is never a good spot when you're fighting like this.
Those 1 or 2 Immortals are putting in some extra work. Roaches here as well. That Ravager is going to go down. I think that this army of Trap is unstoppable.
Absolutely. We're going to go to a game 5 at a side map here. It's been all Trap for 2 maps in a row. What a great battle for Reynor, for Trap. But the Protoss is going to be the one standing in the end. GG! We're going to go to game 5.
Wow, just wow. I mean, that was an amazing game by Trap from start to finish. Kept the Oracle alive, was able to get some damage done by the adapts. He forced out a lot of units. We already looked at each other, like that lair was quite late, right? Of course there was Overlord speed, and of course Reynor was forced to make a lot of units, but it still all felt a little bit late. Nothing on the side of Trap was late. Like, what a big difference, right, compared to Acropolis. This all felt so smooth, so streamlined. On Acropolis, it all kind of felt all over the place. Wow, what a resurgence in the middle of this second quarterfinal, man.
Well, we cannot wait for the final map to decide who moves on to the round of 4. We're going to take a short break. When we return, Trap versus Reynor, game number 5.
BlizzCon 2019 is brought to you by T-Mobile. Their newest signal goes farther than ever, and it's built 5G ready. MSI, True Gaming. Intel, the official CPU partner of BlizzCon. Cisco, the official networking partner of BlizzCon. And by HyperX, we're all gamers.
StarCraft fans, and welcome back to a packed arena of beautiful StarCraft nerds. Speaking of beautiful StarCraft nerds, what's up? I am Maynard, with me is Rotterdam, and we're about to go into a decider match here between Trap and Reynor. I mean, it was all Italian stallion from the start off here, our little Caesar doing so good. And then Trap started to get more and more comfortable. We were talking about it a little bit in the cast. He gets more and more comfortable. And Game 4, it just seemed like his plan went to fruition.
If you compare Game 4 to Game 2, it's like, those are not the two same Protoss players. There's no way. Like, almost everything was perfect and spot on and on the money for Trap in Game 4. And suddenly, Reynor is the one where things feel a little bit late. He's out of position a couple of times as well. I mean, after the first two games, I don't think many people out there expected this to happen. But here we are, our first Game 5 of the day. I don't think it's going to be the last one because all of these players are amazing and they're very evenly matched overall. I don't know what to expect. World of Sleepers as well. It's a feisty map with a lot of tricks out there, especially on the Zerg side, but even Protoss can do a couple of funky things.
There we go. Doubled Reynor win and then back-to-back Trap wins. World of Sleepers, yeah, I just always feel like it's a great map for Zerg in pretty much every single matchup. You know, it's just one of those things where it's a rule of thumb usually. If the Zerg has a lot of space and a lot of map to play with, they do generally get away with a little bit more. They have a little bit more time before you get to the other side of the map. But let's get into it, guys. And I want to hear those throats and those lungs explode, Anaheim. Because in the bottom left, possibly for the last time, if you want to see him push forward, make some noise for Game of Origins, Reynor! And if you like your Koreans, if you like your Protosses, if you like your laser beams, make some noise for Jidder Greenwings' Trap!
And in Game 5 on this map, because of the rich Vespian geysers that we have on this map as well, a lot of strategies are possible. You know, there's one thing that I mentioned a couple of times in the beginning of the year, and which is why I was so happy for Reynor when he finally won his first tournament at WCS Winter, is that sometimes on the biggest moments, Maynard, where it shouldn't have gone wrong, it has gone wrong for him in the past. We all think back of Montreal, WCS last year. Reynor was in a fantastic position. He was supposed to win that tournament in Game 6. He was very far ahead. In the end, he wasn't able to close it out. We're like, well, you know, that could happen. Then WSG, just a couple months later, he was up 2-0. He's winning Game 3 against Neep. Big moment as well, a lot of money on the line. Ended up losing Game 3, ended up losing the series. And at that point, you're starting to get worried, right? It's like, you know, like, can he actually close it out? Later we saw that he can close it out. I mean, he's won 2 WCS tournaments so far, so that's big. But at this moment, I'm sure that those voices are going through the back of your head again.
And it's just so hard when you're young and relatively new, all things considered, even though it feels like he's been around forever. Reynor is relatively new, and it's so hard when you're coming through in esports to silence those voices that are making you feel doubt, that are making you feel the pressure. You just got to play your A game. If Reynor can make a Game 1, like a beautiful, beautiful one-sided Game 1 where everything went to plan for the Zerg, if he can do that again here on World of Sleepers, that's all he needs, just one more map.
I was like, there was one more moment where I felt that Reynor was so close to greatness, and I suddenly remembered in the GSL back then where he won his opening match and he was up 1-0 against Maru. In the second game, he shut down the 3 Rex, and everyone's like, oh my god, Reynor's in the quarterfinals. And then it went wrong. He lost the game. He ended up losing the series, lost the next series as well. It could have been so different. I do think he shocked those demons off a little bit. I mean, he won 2 tournaments so far this year, but this is scary, man. This is these are the moments where you start thinking about it again. You're up 2-0, not a worry in the world. Suddenly you're in Game 5 with tournament live on the line.
Yeah. Getting those sweats happening up there on the stage. No doubt for Trap as well, feeling the pressure. This is a little bit of a tough map for the PVZs, but of course, you know, Protoss can also use that to their advantage. It's just one of those really tricky ones, like you mentioned.
There is, of course, pressure on Trap as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's on tournament live. His tournament live is on the line as well. But I'd still feel like, well, after those first 2 games, I didn't think I'd see a Game 5, right? So the momentum is definitely on the side of the Korean Protoss.
Reynor gets a very quick scout of the Stargate there, but not really anything super crazy. Stargate openings we happened 5 games in a row given Trap. And the first couple of depths, just about ready to shade across the map. It is a bit of a walk, or a bit of a shade, whatever you want to call it, but they are just going to have to try and come across here and slow the Zerg down a little bit, but I don't, you know, it's just such a long run. And the Lings are already here, Queens are already ready, Spores also. About to hit in.
I must say though, as a Zerg player, it's kind of difficult to always keep track of the adepts on this map, because like, yes, if you just sit at home and the adepts come immediately, you know when to expect them. But Trap is a world-class player. He's gonna get those adepts out there somewhere on the map, maybe show them and reveal them, but then he's gonna hide them again. And suddenly, when you least expect it, the adepts show up again, And if you then lose 5 drones, I mean, that could already be a disaster. Like, I don't even know where those adepts are right now.
Looks like they might be at home. Oh, there they are. Yeah, sorry, we have a small mini-map here for the casting desk. So they are coming on in, and not going to finish that shade. That would have been suicide for those depths. Looks like Trap's just going to rely on the oracles for damage here, and maybe just wait for the lings to be on his side.
Yeah, I love it though. Like shading out, cancelling the shade, keeping him there. Let's see if the Phoenix and the Oracle can get some damage done here. No queens in position. 1 drone goes down, but that's not the end of the world with the Reynor.
Nah, completely fine. Damage is damage, and as long as the Oracle's fired, it continues to be a threat. Lair has begun here for Reynor this time. A lot more nicely timed of a Lair. Roach Warren as well, so Reynor looking pretty on point so far with the build order, taking very little damage.
I mean, this Lair is like 3 minutes faster than in the previous game. Of course, it's a different map and the openings are different, but I think that kind of says it all. And so far, the defense is good. A couple of sentries, quite a few sentries being produced already, so it could be maybe one Immortal into another War Prism push, something along those lines.
I think Trap tried to make something like that happen on this map against the laser, but it was off the back of like a 40-ish drone economy, a probe economy rather, and it was a really easy hold for the Polish from memory. But I mean, we are seeing a third Nexus here, so still not super clear what Trap wants to go for. At the moment, it just looks very, very standard, very macro focused.
Yep. Same on the side of Reynor, and of course, once again, we'll see. He's gonna make a couple of roaches here already. Ooh. Safety roaches. The Oracle's gonna fly into the main base. Only a single queen here, but this time the focus fire was a tiny bit off there, maybe for Trap as well. 5 drones is good, but that could have been worse.
Phoenix, go join your sisters, please. There we go. All right, he's out of there. So 5 drones go down, and as long as the Oracles survive, that is annoying for Reynor. Just 1 Spore and 1 Queen, never enough to handle 3 Oracles at once.
You know what's also annoying? If you're building roaches for quite some time and the Protoss doesn't actually attack you, you're like, oh, why did I make them in the first place? Those could have all been drones, and that would have made the economy of Reynor a bit stronger. And once again, I already said it once, but I think one of the biggest difference between game 1 and 2 and 4 is that in game 1 and 2, Reynor had his dream economy. In game 4, he looked alright, he had a big army, but 71 or like 90 plus workers is a massive difference in StarCraft 2, especially if you want to make 40 Banelings for every fight.
Now the Oracles come in, they get a bit of drone damage, but what they do see, I think, is the Infestation Pit back there. So that's a lovely tag.
You think that's Nidus then? I mean, actually, like Nidus Swarmos maybe?
I mean, he'll have to do it without upgrades if he does. I mean, Reynor, if he drops a Spire, I'm going to say Hive, but I'm with you if he doesn't. I think that could be Nidus Swarmos. A strategy that he normally doesn't like super much in this in this matchup.
He has not used it once actually in the entire round of 16. We saw it a lot coming out of the Korean Zergs, but Reynor's banking up quite a bit of money. There we go, the first Swarmos are on the way. So a strategy that he apparently doesn't like, as he goes for a little bit of a run by here as well. He grabs 2 workers. All 3 Oracles still alive, by the way.
Yeah, and that's actually really handy for the Foremost as well. Looks like one of the Oracles going to go down with 4 Crawler. They're getting a fair bit of drone damage. 8 more in that run by, 9 more, 10 more.
Getting greedy there. He's going to try to recall these Oracles.
They're fine.
10 drones for 1 Oracle, that's okay, but you made a very good point there. You want to keep those Oracles alive to spot those Nidus networks from popping up. I don't know what to think here, because this, yes, is a very powerful strategy with a very high win rate, as we saw in the round of 16, but is Reynor comfortable with it?
I mean, like you mentioned, we haven't seen it too much. I know he can do it. He's an incredibly good Zerg and is a master of many, many strategies. He's in top 8 for a reason. It just seems like he's been more comfortable going to that Hive and Fest of Broodlord sort of phase. The Adepts going forward, grabbing a few drones being transferred here. Do they see the Nidus Worm? Looks like the Nidus is well and truly out of position here, so no, not going to be the case. Trap is just making an Immortals. He is expanding right now, so it feels like he truly hasn't gotten wind of the strategy here of Reynor.
I don't think he's 100% sure. Going up to 4 base is going to make it harder as well, right? The first Nidus goes up. Does this Phoenix
should see it? Yes.
Yes, it does. Can he get that though? Oh, that's the last Oracle, right? I think the other one went down already. Can we take a look at the units lost? Yeah. Okay, we saw green blood, we know enough.
Oh, the first wave of Swarm hosts have come out here, and here comes the Locust going for the main of Trap, and also another Nidus into the main base as soon as he has that high ground vision. Are these Locusts just going to go for the main?
Yeah, Zealots are no good, I think. I mean, Zealots will get a couple of these Locusts, but not enough. So I think the main base is in all the trouble here and should go down.
No, he's splitting his damage here, so the Nexus won't go down, but he is going to get a lot of probes, and like you mentioned, those Zealots as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty successful first wave. I still think I would have liked to get the Nexus there. No, now we're going to be stuck
Reynor!
here.
Oh, Reynor! Oh!
My goodness.
All those Swarm hosts stuck behind here, waiting for their bus home. And these Immortals, they're not going to let them go home. He's going to make him punish for his sins.
Don't forget though, Reynor's got a lot of units on the other side of the map as well. He might still get a couple of probes with this. I mean, they're gonna pop the Locust. This is the most important phase in the game. Can Trap keep his important units alive? Because Reynor is maxed out. He's got an insane amount of roaches. These 4 Immortals are not out on the map. So if I was Reynor right now, I'd be forcing a fight.
Certainly seems to be the case here. Dropping the Nidus a little bit further back to reinforce this push of ground army for the Zerg, the Roaches and the Ravagers, the Nidus network and the Swarm hosts, all replenishing this force here.
The longer he waits though, the more powerful this Protoss army becomes. Trap is already hovering around 150 supply. You often say that if they get around 170, 180, that's all that Protoss needs.
Ooh, I don't know. That's a lot of Archons here. Sentries with Guardian Shield, Force Fields as well. There's those Force Fields cutting into the Roach numbers. Out comes the Locust. Trap just needs to pull back away from the Locust every time they come out.
This is a smart play by Trap though, right? Because he's not losing a lot to the Locust, but he is losing probes apparently to these Roaches. This is a fantastic move by Reynor, and exactly what he needed, because Reynor needs to keep under pressure right now. If he slows down, he's in all the trouble, but this was a fantastic move.
Absolutely beautiful play there from Reynor, going for that run by. Looks like the Nidus Worm is going to get shut down. Roaches, Swarm hosts as well getting cut back, but the Force Fields do not deny their escape.
I mean, Reynor still maxed out, and it always looks very promising. And the damage that he did here, that's fantastic. But like I said, it's important to not slow down, right? Because one bad wave of Locust, and suddenly so much of that supply that makes him maxed out is not that useful anymore. He is stacking up during all of this, right? There is a Spire there, I believe Hive was on the way. So there is this is not an all-in, there is a plan B, but Reynor, he wants to keep Trap on his side of the map.
Certainly. The moment Trap pushes with all these Archons, with the Immortals as well, now that they are all together with the army, it actually becomes very, very shaky for Reynor to hold, even though he is up a lot in supply. Keep in mind that his army is very supply inefficient.
Yeah. The Hive starts now, by the way, so Reynor needs to keep doing this for quite some time. If Reynor can get Broodlords out against the Mass Immortal Archon army, that's fantastic, that's an easy win. But Trap is not going to sit back forever. He is hunting down these Nidus networks right now. There are a lot of Locusts though.
Yeah, that third Nexus is DEAD. Down it goes. A lovely pick up there for those Locusts. Swarm host starting to really do some damage here. But I gotta say, the army of Trap still looks extremely frightening.
Yep, this is one of those moments, right? Like if all of the Locusts clump up and 2 Archon shots take care of the Locusts, then I don't know if Reynor can stop this army. Both players right now, I want to say supply block, but Reynor is close to maxing out anyway. A couple sentries here, that'd be a nice pick-up if Reynor sees it. And that's one of them.
Damage is damage. It's very, very important here for map number 5. Both players are about to have their +2 attack. +2's been done for the Protoss for a while here.
Oh, this could be it, Maynard. This could really be it to determine who's going to go to the semi-finals.
Close. And come the Locusts here. So many Archons. Trap pulls back, trying to make those Locusts wait for their turn. And he is actually trying. Oh my god, the Vials connecting a bit there, but then the Prism Juggles come in. Trap pushing forward. Reynor trying to eject those Swarm hosts. They cannot fight. They're on cooldown. The Nidus network, the backside of the Nidus about to get picked up as well. So many Vials. Trap dodging every single one though.
Well, that's kind of what I mentioned, right? Like, yes, Reynor's still maxed out, but all of these Swarm hosts, if they can't fire, they're not that useful. Can he get the Prism here? That's massive. Reynor gets a Prism. That is very big.
No reinforcements here. Trap needs to make it happen with whatever he has right here on the front door of Reynor right now. The Swarm hosts are about to have Locusts back in the fight. The Oracle's pushing them back. The Roaches and the Ravagers. Very squishy. A second Prism rolling in here for Trap. So the Dream is still alive with his push.
Most of the Archons have gone down though. Trap has lost a lot of expensive units and he didn't really get that much. He got a base. He got 12 drones. That's good.
Pull way back.
Wow, it's actually going to go on. I mean, look at the Spine Crawlers for some reason. Oh, the Swarm hosts are on the other side of the map now, dealing sick economic damage. This is fantastic for Reynor.
Yeah, the Swarm hosts looked like they wanted to save those Locusts to fight back at home, but he's like, nah, I got this. The Roaches and the Ravagers, they can fight this back. The Swarm hosts go across the map and they do a Nexus pick-off. And even though Trap only has a handful of workers and Reynor only has a handful of workers, he has a bank. He's got minerals, he's got a good bit of gas as well, and he is still mining a lot more, as we can see here in the graph.
That looked really scary, right? After all the Locusts disappeared, suddenly it's like Trap's army is still big. Like, he could maybe do this. I think Reynor did a very clever move in putting the Swarm hosts back into the Nidus, kind of as a safety zone. The Ravagers feel a little bit exposed here.
Yeah, he's sort of getting surrounded by a bit of a Protoss concave. Reinforcements from as they come forward. Trap's forces are getting thinned out somewhat over here.
Good movement there by Reynor. That could have been ugly, but he saved the most of the important units.
Oh, another Nexus. Don't mind if I do. +2 attack. Locust getting right on that thing and right click it, and down it goes. Crazy damage out of these Locusts. Their DPS is absolutely insane.
I think Trap has had enough. He's going to try to make it happen one more time before the Broodlords are out.
Yeah,
but the army just doesn't look as impressive as it looked before. The Immortals aren't really there anymore. We just got 2 on creep. This deep on creep, this doesn't end well for Protoss.
No, it does not. And GG! Reynor, the has moved on to the round of 4. Just getting the game fight there against Trap. The Nidus Swarmo strategy continues to have a pretty incredible win rate in this tournament. And we are going to see the 2 WCS champions face each other in the semifinals, and only one of these boys is going to be in the grand finale, Roddy.
All 4 finals of the WCS circuit events had at least one of the 2 of them. They have won the 2 events separately. I mean, it's his first series here in this big arena. Yeah, I'm sure that he was sweating a little bit after that 4th game, but he was able to close it out. And now he has a date with Destiny.
He certainly does. Oh, man. Good stuff from Reynor. I was actually sweating a little bit. I'm a massive Reynor fan, obviously, and as getting very nervous there. And plus that the game 3 and game 4 switching over to Trap's side. And game 5 was quite close for a bit there as well.
I think game 5 was very close,
yeah,
especially when the Swarmos popped out in the main base and he lost his Nidus network. Like, oh, how many is he going to lose? In the end, it was only a couple, but that could have been ugly, right? If you lose 7 Swarmos there, we're casting a completely different game.
That was certainly the most exciting Nidus Swarmos game I've seen this tournament so far. That was really, really brilliant play there from Reynor, and also defensively from Trap, whose army, you know, it's one of those armies that if you don't have those Locusts ready, even on creep, they can just go straight through you like a hot knife through butter.
And the Oracle play was good in game 5 as well, right? He kept them alive for quite some time. It's perhaps a shame that like one of them went down right before that Nidus party started, but he got some decent damage in. I liked a lot of the things that Trap did, especially in the second part of that best of 5. It felt in the first 2 he really wasn't on the money as he's supposed to be. We know how good Trap is, but I think in game 3, 4, and 5, Trap played pretty damn good.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And let's go over to stage for an interview with our second semi-finalist, Reynor.
Thank you very much, guys. Wow, congratulations, Reynor. This is your first ever BlizzCon. What is it like to make it to the semifinals already in this massive arena?
It's definitely amazing. The crowd is amazing here. Like this tournament. This tournament is very different from the others. Like it's massive, so yeah, just a different feeling.
You were up 2-0, and then it started to get a little bit dicey as we saw Trap win the next 2. What was going through your minds, and were you worried at all?
Yeah, definitely. When I was up 2-0, I was like, okay, nice. So now just gotta stay back, let him attack me. But I never do what I think, so yeah, I started attacking him, and I lost 2 games. I was like, okay, definitely dumb. And yeah, I'm gonna play some Swarmos, hope for the best. Yeah.
Well, the Swarmos were pretty good because now you're in the finals. Real quick before I let you go, can you take down Cyril to make it to the grand finals, yes or no?
Obviously.
He says obviously. Let's hear what Roddy and Maney have to say about that.
You know what, I didn't think I could be any more of a Reynor fan than I am right now, but I'm clapping and cheering for this kid during that interview. I would actually just like to listen to an MP3 of Reynor interviews.
I know, like, it's actually the best. He's like, yeah, I did this, it was wrong. Definitely dumb.
Definitely
it's like, yeah, it's like, how do you not love Reynor? That was awesome. I mean, amazing, of course. 17 years old, we often forget about it. He feels like a veteran already. What this kid has done this year is spectacular.
He's the youngest kid up there on that stage, and an absolutely crazy achievement for him this year already. Even if he doesn't make it past Cyril, I mean, there's a big if and or but there situation where he could actually be the future global finalist. Let's get into the bracket here and see that it has been updated. There is our WCS face-off. Cyril and Reynor, the only 2 champions of this year on the WCS side, in the round of 4.
And for the 2nd year in a row, this guarantees at least 1 non-Korean in the final. And this is also something that used to be very, very different in StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
They were crushing the non-Koreans for a very long time. 2 years in a row, we have at least a non-Korean in the final.
Yeah, the round of 8 used to be where the non-Koreans would just stop. The Koreans would eject them all.
Often we didn't even make it.
Yeah,
there were days that we didn't even make it to the round of 8.
Well, we are just about done here. We are halfway through the round of 8, so don't miss it. Next up will be Rogue versus Classic. We'll see you then.
BlizzCon 2019 is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of BlizzCon. Facebook Gaming, a world of play. Samsung SSD, performance gamers trust. Corsair, do your thing. And by NVIDIA,